Good morning. Welcome to the August 2018 Public Safety Press Conference. The Winston-Salem Fire Department will present first, followed by the Winston-Salem Police Department, and then the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Office of Emergency Management. First of all, I'd like to thank the men and women of the Winston-Salem Fire Department for their hard work and dedication that they give around the clock, especially in this high heat and humidity that we've been having lately. I also want to recognize and thank the men and women of Winston-Salem Police Department and Office of Emergency Management for all the assistance that they give us on a daily basis as well. We have no historical Winston-Salem line of duty deaths for the month of August. However, I do ask that everybody keep our fellow firefighters in California and other western states in your thoughts as they experience an unprecedented wildfire season. We're going to ask that you take a moment of silence to remember 4 of our following brothers that have made the ultimate sacrifice during these fires. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to introduce our hose uncoupling ceremony and open house for Fire Station 7. This was a major renovation project that was funded by the taxpayers of Winston-Salem with a bond referendum. The location's 100 Arbor Road. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Tuesday, August the 14th, 2018. And at this time, I would like to introduce Fire Inspector Rodney Cooper. He will give a brief presentation on fire inspections. And this is a subject that's sort of near and dear to my heart since I'm also the fire marshal for the city. So, Rodney, if you'll come up. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rodney Cooper. I am a fire inspector in the Fire and Life Safety Division of the Winston-Salem Fire Department. Here to speak with you briefly in reference to the fire inspections that we conduct at public occupancies. Today our focus is going to be on notifications and evacuations. Get out and stay out is a term that you'll hear frequently within the fire service, and my job as an inspector is to make sure that you know when to get out, you know how to get out, you're able to see your way out, and that you don't get stuck on your way out. We'll discuss these terms briefly throughout the presentation. Fire alarms, smoke alarms, and carbon monoxide alarms. These we ask that they be installed per the manufacturer specifications. Once they're installed, it is my job to make sure on an annual basis that they are maintained. Upon my inspection, I ask that documentation be provided to show that they have been tested, and after reviewing that documentation, I ensure that there are no deficiencies so that I can deem that system in compliance with the North Carolina Fire Code. It's not that often that we run into or we see damaged items that are closely related to the alarm systems. The first picture you'll see is something we typically find when someone's painting. We ask that they not do these things. However, when we do see them, we ask that they be repaired and or fixed immediately. For emergency evacuation drills and evacuation planning, there are some structures that have a requirement for them to be in practice of doing evacuation drills every month. Others are, once a year. What we do is, per the North Carolina Fire Code, whatever is designated for your type of occupancy, we make sure that you have been doing those evacuation drills. It's always good practice to have a person or persons in place to make sure that they're keeping record of time, accountability, and we come in and review those reports or those notes to see if we can try to help and see if we can better the situation and make things work quickly and fastly. As a fire code official, I look at emergency lights and exit signs constantly, but for the average citizen, I just want to make you aware of some of the things that we do to make sure that they work properly for you. With the exit signs and emergency lights, we require that they be tested on a monthly basis for 30 seconds and once a year for 90 minutes. This is actually done to make sure that the backup battery that's in place, maintains a sufficient charge to be able to illuminate your path of egress in the case of an emergency. We do run across sometimes where the emergency lights or exit signs have been damaged. Typically, you'll find this in areas such as retail stores or grocery stores or warehouses or factories when you have product that's moved constantly. Accidents do happen, but we do ask that they be repaired and or replaced at the earliest convenience. Are your exits clear? This is a big one for me. My exit is just not the door that has the exit sign on it. An exit is actually the point from which you're standing until you discharge yourself through that exit door. So hallways, stairwells, doorways, we ask that they all always maintain clear and free of any type of combustibles or anything that's going to impede you from getting to a safer environment. Do we encounter blocked exits? Absolutely. When we do, I ask the occupant myself, could you get out of here safely with the conditions that we have right now? Could you get out of here quickly? But what if it's dark? Or if it's smoke involved? And as you look at some of these pictures, these are actual pictures that we found within the city of Winston-Salem. And these items have to be removed immediately while we're standing there waiting. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter, to get updated information on the Winston-Salem Fire Department, or you can reach out to us at 336-773-7900. Thank you for your time, and do have a healthy and safe day. Up next, we have Assistant Chief Natasha Miles.
Good morning. I am Assistant Police Chief Natasha Miles, and on behalf of the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, I want to welcome you to the August 2018 Public Safety News Conference. First, join me in honoring our fallen officers for the month of August. And these officers have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Patrolman Gurney Royal, end of watch, Friday, August 1st, 1941. Cause of death, gunfire. Patrolman Gurney Royal was shot and killed with his service weapon after he and his partner responded to a disturbance call at 3rd Street and Church Street. The suspect was able to gain control of Officer Royal's weapon and fired it 5 times, striking Patrolman Royal in the head. The suspect was subsequently taken into custody by Patrolman Royal's partner and other officers. Patrolman T.G. Anderson. End of watch, Monday, August 15th, 1927. Patrolman T.G. Anderson was killed in a motorcycle accident at 11th Street and Highland while responding to a vehicle accident. Cause of death, motorcycle crash. Now please join me in a moment of silence to honor Patrolman Gurney Royal and Patrolman T.G. Anderson, as well as all the men and women across the country who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Before I begin with our upcoming events, I would like to thank the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department for risking their lives on a daily basis and for all the great work that they do. The upcoming events: the North Carolina Gang Conference will be held on Tuesday, August 14th through Thursday, August 16th at the Benton Convention Center. Also, the 911 Public Safety Challenge will be at the LJVM Annex on September 8th. The challenge will begin at 9:00 a.m. Up next, you will hear from Captain William Penn and Captain Chris Lauder, who will present a citizen commendation, followed by Sergeant Stan Karboski and Detective Paul with upcoming school supply giveaway and Triad Trackers basketball game. Also, you will hear from Traffic Enforcement Officer James Carter on school bus safety, as well as Fraud Sergeant Mike Allen and Hugh Harris from NCDOJ regarding fraud safety and prevention tips. Captain Penn.
Good morning. Before I begin, can I get Jameson Bethea and his mother, Miss Cynthia Bethea, to come up? Last month, I had the pleasure of meeting these two great citizens when they came to the District 1 office to speak with me about feeding the employees at the District 1 office. Jameson wanted to provide this community service in honor of his late grandmother, Jackie Bethea. Miss Jackie Bethea was strong in the community, particularly in the Bon Air Avenue area. Some of her services included organizing and helping to organize block parties in the community, volunteering with the United Way and the Easter Sunrise services, cooking for different businesses' softball teams. She was active in the church to include Union Baptist Church and Emmanuel Baptist Church. But her true love was feeding people, especially in the community. Some of the community service that Jameson has participated in, he's collected canned goods for charity, he's cleaned up Bon Air Park, provided lunch for patients at the dialysis center, provided lunch and socks for patients at Trinity Glen Senior Living. And last night at National Night Out, he was serving folks at the Greenway Park. On July 20th, Jalen provided breakfast for District 1 day shift employees, which included bagels, fruits, and water. Later on, he came in on evening shift and provided subs for the evening shift employees. And then that following Monday, he came back and provided subs for the midnight shift officers. So today, besides thanking you for your breakfast and the lunch and dinner, we also wanted to thank you for reminding us for why we do what we do. So, on behalf of Chief Thompson, to Miss Cynthia Bethea, because Jameson can't do it without Mom, did perform in such a manner as to be recognized by the Winston-Salem Police Department for your support and dedication to our employees. Therefore, as Police Chief, this award is presented to you for your outstanding contribution and positive impact in our community. Thank you. And the same for Jameson. I won't read that again. And one more thing. In an effort to assist you in your continuance honoring your grandmother, in early 2019, a redbud forest pansy tree will be planted in Bon Air Park in Jackie Bethea's name. And at this time, Captain Louder will come up.
Good morning. I'm Captain Christopher Louder of the Winston-Salem Police Department. This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Diego Nunez and his family member to come join me. She can come up too if she wants. Okay. We have another citizen commendation to present, and this one's a little different from Captain Penn's. On July 17th, we had what's typical this time of year. We had a heavy rainstorm, downpours, a lot of trees down, lightning, and roadways were blocked across Winston-Salem. One of our patrol officers, Officer Charles Meadows, who's a 7-year veteran of the Winston-Salem Police Department, was out on patrol in the 1700 block of Ardmore Road. I want to briefly read you an excerpt of what Officer Meadows sent me in recognition of Mr. Nunez, who joins us today. Later that evening, Officer Meadows notified me and said, "I just wanted to bring to your attention a kind act of a citizen who assisted me today. I was dispatched to a security check where a tree had fallen in the 1700 block of Ardmore Road and was blocking one lane of traffic. A kind citizen stopped in the downpour and assisted me for at least 30 minutes to remove the tree from the roadway. The call volume was extremely high across the city, therefore moving the tree to allow traffic to flow was pertinent. This particular citizen got soaking wet and ultimately utilized his own vehicle to drag the tree across the road and out of harm's way. And basically, Officer Meadows states that he felt like Mr. Nunez was deserving of some type of recognition from the police department. And I want to bring to your attention that this not only helped out the police department that night and freed up one of our officers, he probably would have been there for hours at the roadway, but it also helped the citizens in Winston-Salem. And you think about the roadway being blocked, the inconvenience, the hazard that causes not only for public safety, but for the citizens in that area. And quite honestly, most citizens probably would have just found an alternate route, not gotten out in those weather conditions, and assisted us. So I think that just goes to the partnership and the testament of Mr. Nunez's character, who's willing to stop, assist not only the police department, but the citizens of Winston-Salem, and open up a roadway that probably would have remained closed for hours. So on behalf of the police department, I have a citizen commendation, which has been issued by Chief Katrina A. Thompson in recognition of Mr. Nunez. It says, the Winston-Salem Police Department Citizen Commendation, be it known that Diego Nunez did perform in such a manner as to be recognized by the Winston-Salem Police Department for your alertness, quick thinking, and resourcefulness during a recent thunderstorm. Your efforts resulted in a major thoroughfare being opened quickly to restore traffic flow. Therefore, as Police Chief, this award is presented to you for your outstanding contributions and your support for your community in the Winston-Salem Police Department. Dated the 8th day of August, 2018, Katrina A. Thompson, Chief of Police. Mr. Nunez, thank you on behalf of the police department and the citizens of Winston-Salem. Thank you. And I also want to note that when I called him, he was a little bit off guard. He didn't know anything about this. I identified myself, and most people are a little apprehensive, and they say, well, why is someone from the police department contacting me? He didn't think twice about it. But once I explained to him the basis for my call and the reasoning, he was very welcoming. He agreed to come down here today and be presented with this award. So I just wanted to make sure that you deserve the recognition and that Mr. Nunez did not solicit any of this. This is on behalf of Officer Meadows, and I want to commend Officer Meadows, and I had that conversation with him last week of taking the time to notify us whose job it is to in turn to recognize citizens across the city. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Sergeant Stan Karboski and Detective Jerome Paul to the podium to talk about a school bag giveaway and an upcoming basketball event.
Good morning. My name is Sergeant Stan Karboski. I'm the Community Resources Supervisor for the Winston-Salem Police Department. And we'd just like to briefly speak about our school supply giveaway that we're having this Friday. We'll be giving school supplies and backpacks away to students at our Winston Mutual building, and our 3 district offices will be starting at 10 o'clock a.m. on a first-come, first-served basis. And the child must be in attendance for the parent to receive the bag. We want to really emphasize that, and also first come, first serve. Last year we gave away 1,500 book bags in less than 50 minutes. This year we'll be giving away 1,600, and we expect it to be right about 50 minutes before all the bags are gone. So we ask citizens to get there early and to make sure that they bring their children with them, and no bags will be distributed prior to 10 a.m. Are there any questions? Thank you very much, Detective Paul.
Good morning, Detective Jerome Paul, Winston-Salem Police Department. I'm here to talk about the August Madness. August Madness is our Triad Trackers wheelchair basketball team versus the Winston-Salem Police Department. We will be playing in wheelchairs also. That will be Saturday, August the 11th, 2018 at the Gateway YMCA, 1300 South Main Street. The time will be 10 a.m. Free admission. The donations will go toward the Triad Trackers wheelchair team, their van fund. Like I say, this is the 2nd annual. We also have our honorary coach this year. And we have one of the players from the Triad Trackers, Mr. Dean Smith, not the coach of Carolina, past coach, but this is Dean Smith, player for the Triad Trackers. This is our honorary coach this year, Mr. Marcel Smith. So we have two Smiths going at it, but this is our honorary coach this year, and we would like for everybody to come out and support this game, support the Trackers. Group of awesome guys, group of awesome stories. So if you can, please be there and attend. And if there is an issue, everybody know that's an issue at the Y right now. If there's a change, we will do a press release and let everyone know when or where the game will be played. Hopefully that problem at the Y will be repaired by Saturday, and that's what we're anticipating. So please come out and support them. Thank you all. Next, we will have Officer J.C. Carter.
Morning. My name is Officer Carter with the Police Department Traffic Enforcement Unit. I'm here to talk about school safety as we lead into the 2018-2019 school year. School starts back on August 27th. It's an important day for everybody to remember. Buses are going to be out on the road. It's going to take a while to commute. It could be affected. So just remember that as August 27th comes around. Some safety tips for students and parents. Crossing the crosswalk. That way you have some legal right to be there. You have a legal right of way. In the event something happens, you're where you're supposed to be when you're crossing the road. Watch for and obey the crossing guards. They're there for your safety. They're there to get vehicle traffic through and to get you safely to school. Look both ways when crossing the street. Be careful, make sure each lane as you're crossing is safe and clear. Obey the signs and cross the street where you have the best view of traffic so you don't step out in front of another vehicle. Adult and teen drivers, know when to stop for school buses. We're going to talk about that so everybody's on the same page. It can get confusing if the last time you talked about it was when you had driver's ed, so we'll cover that. Make sure you yield to pedestrians that are in crosswalks. They have the right of way in a crosswalk. Obey this posted school speed zones, and we'll go over that. Never pass a vehicle that's stopped for a pedestrian. The pedestrian might not see you. Make sure the path's clear before you turn. Slow down near bus stops, schools, and playgrounds just in the event a child's not paying attention and they run out in front of the road. You want to be on guard in the case that happens so you can take evasive action. No drinking and driving. Be sure to buckle up. Avoid distractions, food, other passengers, cell phones, navigation devices, etc. And texting and driving is illegal. So when do we have to stop for a stopped school bus? If you've got a 2-lane road that's separated by a double yellow line, if a bus is stopped, all vehicular traffic proceeding in both directions have to stop. Same if you've got a 4-lane roadway that's only divided by a double yellow line. That's 2 lanes proceeding in each direction. All vehicular traffic has to stop because buses are allowed to offload there and pedestrians allowed to cross oncoming traffic to their residence. If you've got a 3-lane road, that's 1 lane proceeding in each direction with a center turn lane. All vehicular traffic has to stop if there's a stopped school bus because there again, the students are able to cross all lanes of travel to get to their stop location. The only time that you are not required to stop if you're proceeding the opposite direction the school bus is if it's a 4-lane roadway that has a divided median or a center turn lane. So you can see in this illustration the other cars proceeding the opposite direction the school bus can proceed. Schools aren't allowed to offload children that have to cross the roadway. And if there's a median. So basically, if you've got less than 4 lanes, you probably need to stop. It's the best way to think about it. Patience can save lives. Being in a hurry and passing a stopped school bus could be fatal for the kids, and nobody wants to kill a kid. Give children a chance. Stop for all stopped school buses. If you don't and you're stopped for it, it's a hefty fine. It's $458 if you're charged. And if you're convicted, that's 5 points on your driver's license. So it's a big, state of North Carolina takes it seriously. And there again, you could potentially kill someone passing a stop school bus. If you need any more information concerning any of these topics, you can visit North Carolina DOT website and get some more information. Speed zones, school zone, school zones. Signs posted, they're posted at the beginning and end. At the beginning to know this is where the reduced speed area is, and at the end so you know that it's over. Times are posted for AM times and PM times. They're usually below the speed limit sign, as the picture shows. And most of the school zone speeds in the city of Winston-Salem are 25 miles an hour. There's only a select few that are 35. So just remember that if you're in and around schools during those times, the speed limit's 25. And it's got the same fine for speeding in a school zone as for passing a stop school bus. It's about $458. So it's a hefty fine as well. Bus stop warning signs, they're usually there to let you know there's a bus stop coming up, either outside of a curve or something, so you have a heads up. Just be mindful of that. Know most of the commuting time coincides with when the buses are out on the routes. So just be mindful of that. If you have an issue with stopping for a stop school bus, maybe adjust your route so you don't have to be affected by that, or adjust the time that you leave. Just be mindful of children along side of the road, getting to a bus stop or walking to school. Just approach those locations with caution. Familiarize yourself with the school areas. Know when the times are that the school's let out. Just be mindful so when you're passing through there, you're not going to create any kind of hazard with the students coming and going from school. Be aware of the heavy pedestrian traffic in the area, and be aware of crossing guards and pay attention to those. Like I said, they're there to keep everybody safe. They're there to get vehicular traffic through, buses out, and kids across the road. So biggest thing to remember is safety is number one. That's what you need to think about. Drive safe and obey the law. You'll win every time. Anybody any questions? Up next is Sergeant Mike Allen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Allen, and I'm a sergeant in the Financial Crimes Unit with the Winston-Salem Police Department. This morning, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the overwhelming amount of internet scams, frauds, identity theft cases that we investigate or that are reported to our agency throughout the year. These cases are extremely difficult for us to follow up on, and so I wanted to kind of address those concerns and make some announcements on the ways in which the citizens can arm themselves to alleviate themselves from being victims of these scams. In doing so, the Winston-Salem Police Department is committed to providing that sort of service so that we're working together in conjunction with the North Carolina Attorney General's Office, Department of Justice, their Consumer Protection Division, to get out some public service announcements in the near future to the citizens so that we can better educate you so that you don't fall victim to these scams. These scams are ever changing, and since they typically involve the internet or telephone, they're extremely difficult for us to follow up on. And a lot of these scams are internationally based, which makes it difficult for local law enforcement to follow up on these, and even for the federal bureaus to follow up on. That being said, I'd like to introduce Mr. Hugh Harris with the North Carolina Department of Justice Public Protection Division. Mr. Harris is Outreach and Policy Counsel for the North Carolina Department of Justice, and he travels around the state and talks about cybersecurity, scams, frauds, identity theft, and the like. So this time, let me introduce Mr. Harris.
Thank you. Good morning. And first, also, let me thank Sergeant Mike Allen for bringing me here and talking to me about some of the issues that are happening here. Also, the Winston-Salem Police Department, I appreciate just being here and hearing the wonderful things you guys do, and I appreciate it when meeting or talking to all law enforcement. First, let me just dive right into this. The Attorney General, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein has one major job, That is to protect all North Carolina citizens. And here today, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that we do. I'm an outreach and policy counsel for the North Carolina Department of Justice, but I go around the state and I talk about scams and frauds, cybersecurity, some of the things that Sergeant Mike Allen mentioned. Here's some statistics right here from 2017. There were 55 victims who reported they were victims of sweetheart scams. They lost a total of $2.7 million. Mystery shopper scams, 11 people reported this. They lost a total of $37,000, close to $38,000 on that. There's a sweepstakes scam that was going around here in North Carolina in 2017. Around 106 victims reported to our office. They lost around $1.7 million. Advance fee loan scams, around 21 victims, $25,000, close to $26,000. There's one major problem with those statistics that I got from our office is that not everyone is reporting these scams to us. We need people to report these to us so we can get an accurate count, so we know what's going on here in North Carolina. Also with ID theft, data breaches, 50% of the data breaches in North Carolina were the result of hacking. More than 5.3 North Carolinians were affected by data breaches. This is again 2017, some of the statistics. We know since 2006, hacking has increased even more, and also phishing scams has increased here in North Carolina. Obviously, some of the most common, obviously, is hacking, phishing scams, stolen computer equipment. It can be by lost shipment, data theft by an employee or a contractor, or accidental release or display of information. All of this deals with ID theft or information. Some of our personal information, including social security numbers, checking account numbers, driver's license numbers, some of that important information. And again, like I said, you can see the rise here. Since 2006, how many North Carolinians were affected by security breaches? That's 2017. Equifax played a major role in that last year with that data breach that they had. Usually, we don't associate college with a victim, right? College students, we think about a fun time. They're going to be independent. They're coming from all over, the United States here or even internationally to some of your local colleges here. Usually when we think about victims, we think about the elderly who are victims of scams because they're targeted. We know that. They're liquid, they're retired, they're accessible. Sometimes they may have some cognitive loss or disability, and the scammers, target them, get on them, and just stay with them and try to take what they can from them. Well, also college kids can be a victim too. They're innocent to an extent. This is their first taste of independence, and they want to show that independence. So what do college kids need? We all know that, right? They need money. So what are the ways they can think that they can get this? Well, obviously a job. So sometimes they may search for some of these jobs on Craigslist or whoever on a website, and it could be a scam. They'd have to pay for the application. They could want a scholarship, which is a great thing. College kids need scholarships. They'll search for them online, and it could be a scam, a fake scholarship. Some of those will try to charge you for filling out the application. That's not right. Also just spending money throughout the day, or they might need a car. Not everybody's parents can buy them a car, so some college kids want to buy it on their own, and they try to show that independence, and they see something on a website, and they try to purchase that vehicle there, and then they come to learn that that vehicle didn't even exist. That down payment they put for that car doesn't, that money's gone, it's been wired. Or how about an apartment that they rent for their friends or something like that? It could be a scam right there. So what do college kids obviously, need to be aware? We need to get the word out to them. We need to let them know to file complaints with our office so we know how many are affected by this. But back to that identity theft, that deals with college kids also, because sometimes some of that information that scammer is seeking from them, whether it's an apartment rental or a new car, they may ask for their driver's license. And again, kids don't know this. They don't know you're not supposed to give this information out. So some of the identity theft tips we talk about is opt out of credit offers. I remember when I went to college, the first thing, one of those tables I saw was fill out for a credit card, right? Well, what if a scammer set up a fake booth, got their information? Because what do you do to fill out for a credit card? Social Security number is one of those main things, right? Mother's maiden name, all that golden information. So these are some of the things that they can do. They can obviously check their credit report. And this goes for all of us in this room. And more importantly, a free security freeze. We offer this link on our website, which is, very easy to do. It's for anyone. It's no cost. You can do it for your elderly family members. You can do it for yourself. And also college students can do it too. This is information we offer them. Obviously we're not in a partnership with these three companies. You would do it separately, but here's the link. It's on our website, and it's very quick and easy to do. It's permanent. Will last the rest of your life, however long you want it to last. You create your own password, so no one can use your credit and buy something without your permission. That's what that is, a free credit freeze. Also with the internet, we try to teach kids, and also college kids and adults, be careful on the free Wi-Fi stuff. Try not to purchase stuff if you're in a coffee shop and it says free Wi-Fi. You want to make sure it has the correct Wi-Fi address, that it's not a fake one that someone's using just to gather information. Be careful with social media. Don't put all your stuff out there, some of your personal or private information. And going to personal information, that goes for college students too, just letting them know, look, you don't have to put everything out there, even teenage kids. If we're going on a family vacation, don't broadcast it to the world that we're gone for 2 weeks and no one's going to be home. Don't do stuff like that. Certain things can be personal and private. This is a good tip that's on our website, a good link. We know that some of these student loans, some of these colleges have closed, or they may have been sued by other attorneys general, where our website talks about that. We're helping North Carolina students who attended Corinthian colleges, including Everest College, Everest Institute, Everest University, Held College, Wyotech. They can apply to try to get their students' loan forgiven, their loans forgiven. Also for North Carolina ITT students also, that's something that they can check out on our website. It has a link there, also has a form. Some of the tips we try to give students when looking at a student loan, and again, this is good for parents. Make cost a factor when choosing a college. Know all your options. Borrow wisely. Plan ahead for repayment. Those are just some of the tips. There's a link to our website right there that talks more about that. And just to go into the scams and fraud tips, just in general for scams, always read the contract. Pay with a credit card if you can. Never give out your Social Security number or any of that personal information, checking account number, or anything like that. And the old adage that we all have heard, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So in summary, if you are a victim of a scam, obviously it's fine to call the police department to let them know if you're a victim of that. But we love for people to also file a complaint with our office so we know what's going on and what's out there. And sometimes we can get restitution if we find that bad actor and locate them here in North Carolina. Check out companies before you use them. Check out the owner of the companies. Research them. Look at BBB. You can call our office also. Add your name to the do not call list, which stops legitimate companies from calling you. That's what it's made for. And if a company does violate that, we'll talk about that, what you can do. But share this knowledge. Don't just keep it to yourself. Do like I do. I travel the state. I try to tell everyone all of these tips, all these things that can help them. Some of the complaint forms that we have, obviously we have a general complaint form. That's on our website. Telemarketing complaint, that means someone violates that do not call list, some company does, you can file a complaint on them. Automobile complaint. If you've been a victim, you think of an automobile scam, or you're not sure you are, you can file a complaint or call us, and we'll let you know. Here's the numbers to contact us. This is the website. It's www.ncdoj.gov, but I listed the direct link to the complaints. You can call the number toll-free within North Carolina, 1-877-5-NO-SCAM, or within North Carolina, 919-716-6000, or in Spanish, 919-716-0058. Also, on our website, we have a list of some of the scams that are going on. There's alerts. The North Carolina Attorney General puts out the latest alerts on the latest scams going out or going on in your community, so you're aware of what's going on. So You can sign up on our website and check it out. Sergeant Mike Allen, thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. At this time, does anybody have any questions for myself or Mr. Harris regarding frauds, internet scams, identity theft? Okay, at this time, I'd like to introduce Winston-Salem County Emergency Management, Acting Emergency Management Director, Robert Reese.
Thank you, Sergeant. Good morning. I'm Robert Reese, the Acting Director for Winston-Salem County Emergency Management. I'd like to welcome you again to the August 2018 Public Safety News Conference. I can say our office is very appreciative of the mostly dry weather so far this week, after the past 2 weeks. Next, you will hear from the Triad Regional Operations Director, Ashley Von Rudin, and Forsyth County EMS Captain Tara Tucker. They're going to discuss the Daymark recovery services offered here at the Forsyth Center.
Thank you, and good morning, and I just want to say thank you for having us here today. I am Ashley Von Rudin. I am the Regional Director for Daymark in the Triad area, which covers Rockingham, Davie, Stokes, and then we actually have 2 offices here in Forsyth. The main one that we're going to talk about is our main outpatient center in Forsyth. We have actually recently moved in May, and we are now across the street on Highland Avenue. And the services that we've always had from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for adult and child mental health and substance use services are still there. We just moved across the street. We have our advanced access walk-ins. Those walk-ins basically mean that they can be current clients or new clients that come into the facility that don't already have a scheduled appointment. I can tell you in April, for the month of April, we had 261 walk-ins. And then recently, just in July, it went up quite a bit, and I believe that's because of some of our new services, to 373 clients served in that month. And that's just walk-ins, not actually scheduled appointments. We do continue to offer outpatient and group therapy, as well as psychiatric evaluations and medication management. As far as our groups are concerned, we do have 41 groups offered. Some of those groups include substance use intensive outpatient, which is 3 times a week. And then we are actually trying to really engage the community with our child services. And so we are trying to grow that population, and we now have an adolescent dialectical behavioral therapy group, which mainly focuses for those youths that have borderline personality disorder. And then we also have a motivational interviewing group for substance use adolescents as well. Our new service that we are now offering started on May 14th. And that is our behavioral health urgent care. We call it the BHUC for short. So you might hear BHUC in the area. But this is ultimately now, it takes the advanced access side and it makes it 24/7. So anybody, child or adult, needs to come in 24/7. They can come and be assessed. Part of that is also our 23-hour chair. So for adults, they can come in and they can be observed, get further assessment, and have further services with us. Our staff that are always on hand are nurses, licensed clinicians, and certified peer support specialists. So again, who can present to the BHUC? We have our advanced access walk-in, so anybody can come 24/7. The only difference with the 23-hour chairs is that we cannot hold children in those chairs. Now, if they do come in and they need a higher level of care, we will work with them and we will refer them to the next level. They just can't stay and receive services with us in that chair. We do have some inclusionary criteria and some exclusionary criteria. As far as inclusionary, again, mental health, substance use services for adults, any patient in the custody or care of law enforcement or EMS. We can take people obviously voluntarily as well as involuntary. So if they're under IVC, we can take them. And then we also have the detox folks that we can work with. I will say that we are outpatient services, so we don't have a medical team like EMS might have, or even the ER. So when we do have detox clients that come in, we try to get them in and to the next facility as quickly as possible so that they're not going through withdrawals and needing extra medication. We do also have some exclusionary criteria, of course, and that's just due to medical acuity, which we do have a list. And then, of course, aggressive behaviors. When you're thinking about the chairs, we have up to 12 chairs in our facility. And we have one room with 8 chairs and one room with 4 chairs. So if somebody's aggressive, then we're not able to put them in there, and we don't want them with the other clients that we have there. So what happens when you're in the chair? I promise that you don't just sit there and wait. We do that clinical assessment just like we would for anyone. We also have a nursing assessment, and that helps us determine if they're too medically acute and how they're doing. We also have individual and group services. So it might be that that peer support person may be working with you and going over community resources, or even talking about their story to kind of help you with yours. And then we do have clinicians that can meet with you individually or in a group. And typically the group setting are for those that have common symptoms or common issues going on, so they can all meet together. And then we provide vital and symptom monitoring, of course, that resource assistance. Maybe it's for figuring out how to apply for Medicaid. Maybe it is getting to a different outpatient facility, whatever that might be. And then we also have discharge follow-up. We have mobile engagement, which some of you might know as mobile crisis in the past. They work directly with us, so if we have somebody that comes and sits in the chair with us, and ultimately they don't have to go to a higher level of care, they're able to calm down and go back home, we engage mobile engagement to call them until their next appointment, so that then they can check on them and make sure that they're doing okay. Some other services that we offer in Forsyth outside of our main Forsyth office are our Assertive Community Treatment team, and that's our ACT team. That is for our SPMI folks, which are severe, persistently mentally ill. Typical diagnosis for those are more the bipolar and schizophrenia. We help, we go in the community, we have a doctor on the team, and we just provide those wraparound services. We also have a community support team. And it's a little bit lower level than the ACT team, but still going into the community, helping them with resources. Maybe it's ADLs, medication management, all of that good stuff. We then have children's services. So we have intensive in-home that goes out in the community. Those kids are typically your oppositional defiant. Maybe they're on probation. Maybe they're just having a difficult time in school or at home. We go out into the community and serve them as well. We have our psychosocial rehabilitation, which is PSR. That is commonly known as a clubhouse. Members go there, and we actually right now have a gardening service where they actually made the garden. They learned what to plant in the garden, how to keep it alive, and then also how to harvest the food that goes with that. So they learn social skills, and they just all those ADLs and things like that they can learn. And then, of course, we have our mobile engagement team that schools call. If they're having any issues, they go out and they assess them and refer them to the next level of care. They also do wellness checks, things like that for us. And then I've put up a list of contact information. We have the Forsyth Center number right there. We also have the direct number back to the BHUC. We have our mobile engagement dispatch number. I've also added Jerry Myers, who is our Forsyth Associate Center Director. He's over the BHUC, so over that advanced access and that 23-hour chair. And then, of course, I'm up there if you guys have any questions or need anything. And I'm actually going to pass it over to Tara. She works with us a lot.
Thank you, Ashley. Captain Tara Tucker with Forsyth EMS. And I just want to make sure that first responders really are aware of this new resource that we have to access care for those behavioral health emergencies. A lot of the calls that we get are for mental health or substance use issues, kids and adults as well. So this is something that Forsyth County EMS has actually been using with our community paramedic program. We transport folks to, they actually do have 2 Sally ports for us so that we can transport people there safely and link them to services. Also, it's a resource that we can inform the community about, because not all the time do we need to provide that transportation. So making sure that we let the community know this resource is there 24/7 so that people can get assessed and get linkage. A lot of times the linkage to behavioral health services doesn't happen in the emergency room. That's just really not their focus. So this is a much better resource, I think, for getting people the help they need. We've seen it work. We've worked through issues whenever we find out there may be one. So making sure our community knows that we have this resource. There's only 2 in the state, so we're very fortunate to have it here in Winston-Salem.
Thank you. We'll pass it back over to Robert.
Thank you, Ms. Von Rudin, Captain Tucker. If there aren't any questions, this will conclude the August 2018 Public Safety News Conference.